questions or no comments, anybody?
I'm fine.
Pretty straightforward stuff. Okay.
Do you have a question?
I think the public has some questions, and I think in the case of this public attendee, Diane Jones, I was able to get a copy of the 14-page contract and the paperwork from U.S. Bank, as well as the documentation from the Secretary of State. And I think outside of raising the questions why the trade name was canceled, and then on the same day that I asked questions and provided documentation regarding your organization on October 8th, I noticed that someone went online to pay $300 to get the trade name reinstated on that very date of October 8th. I have a couple of other questions, but Mr. Nelson is here, so maybe he can explain that.
Sure.
Okay, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for bringing it to our attention that our trademark had expired with the Secretary of State. And that is a renewal every 5 years.
Correct, but yours was revoked in June.
It wasn't, it was...
It was canceled.
It was canceled. And it is, it has to be renewed every 5 years. It was sent to our old address. And it was something that just simply was forgotten. It's a $39 fee.
Except you paid $300 to get it
So thank you for
reinstated.
bringing it to our attention. As soon as it was brought to our attention, we called the Secretary of State's office and asked them immediately, how can we have this remedied? And they said, well, absolutely, you can have it remedied today for the $39 fee plus an expedited fee for $300. So we wanted it fixed, not only for Geauga County, but for all of our other business out there.
Is it true, I saw some other paperwork, is it true that you have only been affiliated with Red Tree / Kindred Spirits since December of 2018? Is there a reason for that paperwork?
Me personally or the firm?
Yeah, you as the statutory agent.
I started the firm in 2014. I don't know what you're referring to there. Something could have possibly changed with changing names on compliance or something like that, but there's two co-founders, it's myself and Jennifer Trowbridge.
So how many employees are there with Red Tree and Kindred Spirits?
I'm not sure you have to answer that, Ryan.
Maybe not, except we're talking, I think, someone tell me how much money is involved in this investment? How much money, okay, treasurer, what kind of investment are we talking about for those of us who, come to these meetings and are interested in that kind of thing?
Ms. Jones, you've been a regular attendee, and you heard me 2 months ago introduce this firm, and you had no questions or concerns.
Okay,
This
except
really-
I did have
I'm
concerns
sorry.
when I checked.
May I finish?
Certainly, but you can be polite.
I asked if I may finish.
Certainly.
So it is my recommendation to the commissioners that we engage this firm. Some questions were raised. They delayed affirming my decision. So is this a decision for the commissioners, or is this for you to question the firm that I am hiring?
This is not an interrogation. This is just trying to find out all the information that should be available. And I think if we're talking about a $26,000 a year investment fee, which I'm not sure if that's based on percentage of return, Mr. Nelson has indicated that he'd like to have a rate of return, but a rate of return can be 1/100% and still be a rate of return. So I guess the concern here is there are just a lot of red flags, I think, that were raised, and they came primarily from checking the Secretary of State's page. And, these are areas of negligence that I would not expect with a company that handles $4 billion in funds, but reports to not the Better Business Bureau, Dun & Bradstreet Street, that their income was $201,000 and some change.
So you're suggesting that I'm hiring a negligent firm? I don't appreciate that.
I didn't suggest anything, I'm asking for clarification.
No, you used the word negligent.
Why are
The
you trying to
negligence-
intimidate her?
Yeah,
Why-
I mean, forget it, buddy.
Why?
I mean, I
Calm
did the
down.
research.
Yeah, you're being really rude to Diane.
If someone can answer my questions, I don't have a problem. But right now, I've got a 14-page contract, a Dun and Bradstreet report, and a number of questions which I think deserve answering, in as much as there was at least one issue, maybe more, that was brought up. So if someone can answer those.
On the certificate of liability, the insurance has lapsed.
That is not correct. Perhaps the one that we provided a few months ago, but it is up to date, and I do have those documents here.
Also, I'd like to mention, I have a company that has a trademark, and they send me a letter 2 months before it expires. It doesn't just, they don't just send you a letter and say, send your money. They give you plenty of warning.
And it did go to our previous address. It was not sent to our new address. We moved 2 years ago. If you can check our SEC registration,
Well,
there's no issues there.
But there's no issues, period. There are
We
no
missed a
assets
$39
listed.
fee to the Secretary of State, and it was remedied as soon as it was.
Are you chartered financial analysts?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you certified financial planners?
I'm a chartered financial
Pardon?
analyst.
Pardon me?
I'm a chartered financial analyst.
Okay. The reason I ask is my brother has been works for the oldest financial advisory company in the country, formed in 1860. And I sent down all the information about your company to him, and he was not that impressed. He suggested a local company or somebody like Vanguard or Fidelity. Yeah, he's a first vice president at that important company, and he did not think this was such a good idea. And I'm amazed at why you're being so defensive.
Because this is my decision. I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, but it's a decision with our money.
It is indeed. That's why I get elected to do this, to be responsible for the entire county.
It just seems odd that all the paperwork was done in September. The first payment to them was supposed to be October 1st from U.S. Bank. And I'm curious about why the money would come from the bank rather than the county, like everything else is paid.
The bank is not our fiscal agent. It holds all of our assets that are in the investment portfolio. We also have millions of dollars in other banks, including U.S. Bank.
Okay, but the documents were all prepared on September 23rd.
That's when I wanted this to begin. It's been now
Yeah,
a month.
It seems like you did it backwards. Wouldn't you come first and say, I'd like this company? You know, can I get the paperwork ready instead of getting it? I mean, it looks like you thought it was going to be a slam dunk.
And it should have been, because these are professional services being
This is too
chosen by
small of a
me.
company to handle the money for the second largest county in the state of Ohio,
We're the second largest?
per capita.
We're the fourth largest.
No, we're the second largest.
We used to be the first, but that's no longer the case and hasn't been for over 10 years.
Delaware is the first.
Yes, they are.
We're the second.
Well, that may be in your world.
Don't be insulting.
I'm just telling you the facts. This is what I do, deal with the facts. And I
So
deal
do
with
I.
the money. And the fact that we're engaging with a company that is more entrepreneurial and handles $4 billion will benefit our county and all of the taxpayers.
When your deputy was here and made a presentation, she said that they are handling other counties in the state. Can you give me the names of the other counties in the state that they're handling?
I can certainly answer that. We assist on Defiance County, Paulding County, Van Wert County, Pike County, Benton County, Hocking County, and Monroe County.
Anything big?
We,
These are small counties.
I can also name many other entities that we work with across the state of Ohio
Franklin,
that
Cuyahoga.
have more assets than Geauga County. So we work with a lot of school districts, work with a lot of cities, we work with a lot of agencies of the state. Again, this is our only focus, and we don't focus on managing money for individuals or companies. Our focus is managing public funds, and I've been doing that for 19 years.
Excuse me, I see that Caroline Mansfield is here, and we were here when she gave her presentation, and she volunteered during her presentation that she had talked to 2 or 3 other counties who gave, this is not her words, but they gave complimentary reports about this company. And the question becomes, why was there a reference only to 2 or 3 counties? I mean, that is sort of not real complimentary to your company if, it handles $4 billion and she talked to 2 or 3 counties that were satisfied. It's a little bit disconcerting and a little bit confidence shaking for those of us who have witnessed some confidence shaking events in the last 5 years with this county. And we're sort of watching. So, and I think that's not only our privilege, but our responsibility.
How many,
I didn't speak with them. I said that Mr. Hitchcock spoke with them. I'm sorry.
Whatever, the reference was to 2 or 3 counties, and they were not identified, just 2 or 3 counties. Wouldn't it
And
be?
that's not the way you do background on a company. You don't call and just say, hey, how they doing? You actually run backgrounds on them.
and I did at the various treasurer conferences that I've attended, that Mr. Nelson has attended as well, and that's how you, through networking, I determined that this firm would be suitable for our county. How many references did I actually run? I made 3 phone calls and talked to 3 county treasurers. They were all very positive. I don't think I needed to waste any more of my time or the taxpayers' time to chase down looking for anybody that had something bad to say. Nobody had anything bad to say about this firm.
Judy Samlin Spots, I just want to say that in light of the Decatur devastation to this county, and you served on that board while that money was...
What board was that?
The ADP board. Do you not serve on the ADP board?
Every elected official serves on that board.
Thank you. We have a right to ask questions.
Of course you have the right to ask questions, but
We don't have a full explanation for what happened there, so we are very concerned.
I think you need to talk to Auditor Glia, who signed every contract that authorized every payment to a fictitious company.
We have that
That had nothing to
information
do with the
already.
ADP board.
Of course it did. The ADP board's supposed to overlook all this.
Not the office of the auditor. That's a different individual who's duly elected by the citizens.
ADP board members questioned the purchase of pencils on that committee. You had the right. You were not vigilant.
Well, let's try and stay on the subject here, regarding this agreement and contract. If there's any other questions related to that, now would be the time to ask them. But I do have one question, and I guess from what I understand, this is purely an advisory role that you'll be taking?
That is correct.
So there will be no trades from your business?
That is
or-
correct. We would
okay.
serve as an
Yeah.
investment, what's seen as a non-discretionary investment advisor, meaning that we have
Okay.
discussions with the treasurer's office before any investment decisions are made.
Okay, and your fee structure is based on what? Just
It is a flat
fee?
structure.
Okay, yeah. And is that based on the percent, on the dollar amount that the
It
county?
is just a flat fee structure.
Okay.
It's not based on,
Okay.
the assets, nor is it based on a performance base.
Okay,
And frankly, we're getting a bargain.
yeah.
we're saving money from what we've been paying the previous advisor.
Mhm. Yeah, and what was the firm that we were using before? I mean, were they
Leader
doing-
Investments.
Okay, and they were doing similar type of advisory, but we're getting a better rate and a little more attention, is what
Yeah.
you're saying, yeah? Or a
Far,
lot,
far better
Yeah,
firm
okay.
for our county.
okay. Okay. Diane, do you have another question? or-
I'm still curious, my one question has not been answered, and that is, if it's a $26,000 yearly structure, and that's up to you how you determine it, what kind of portfolio value are we talking, $26,000 a year? Particularly if there are no trades involved.
And
What-
why do we need them?
What are you asking, what size of the portfolio?
What is the value of the portfolio?
$64.4 million is the current value of the investment portfolio. We also hold $23.2 million in cash. Some of that cash will be going to pay taxes.
Mhm. Okay,
Wow.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Hearing no other questions, would you like to read number 7, please?
The Treasurer's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the Red Street Investment Group Investment Management Agreement, Kindred Spirits Investment Management LLC, to act as an advisor, provide advice and supervision for Geauga County's investment portfolio, and acknowledge the custody account application, Red Tree Investment Group and U.S. Bank, on recommendation from County Treasurer Christopher Hitchcock.
So move. Second?
Commissioner Borak?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Lundey?
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen.